Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I've got lots of new products here with me today. There just seems to have been an abundance of new releases these past few weeks from Creative Memories. So in today's video I thought I would have a little bit of a play with the new Sunflower Fields collection. How cute are these little layered embellishments? Very sweet. So I've got the stickers, the layered embellishments, I've got the designer paper pack with me. I've also got the new gold shimmer solid core paper that was released at the same time. There was also two new jumbo frames that released recently. I think these have actually were released a few years ago, so I think these could be a bring back. I've actually already labelled my template covers here because I knew I was going to get the name of them muddled up, but we've got the jumbo wavy square as well as the jumbo square frame that have got the wavy edge on the inside there. So I'm going to probably have a little bit of a play with these as well. Now I'm going to start with the jumbo wavy square template. That's the one that's got the wavy edge on the outside. And I like to mark my halfway points on my templates. It just makes it so much easier and quicker when you're wanting to center your frames on the paper. If you have a look here on the template on the inside track, you'll see there is a little cutout, like a little nodule there that marks the halfway point, and that's on all four sides. But I like to line it up square and center on my cutting mat. And you can usually do that by allowing 1/2 inch all the way around to the 12-inch width of your cutting mat, and that will get it quite centered. You can line up those center nodules as well. And when you're happy with the position of that, then I'm going to come in with my permanent marker and just mark all those halfway points. So just a small little marking directly through on all of the tracks there. And it just becomes a no-brainer then when you're wanting to center your template onto your papers before you cut out your frames. So that will mark that in place for us. Now to begin with, I've actually got a offcut here from another layout that I created. It's an offcut frame. I used the other template, the jumbo square template, for another project, so I didn't want to waste this offcut, so that's what I'm using today. But you take your designer paper, we're going to get it perfectly square on our cutting mat. Then I can come in with my jumbo wavy square, and using my markers that we've just put in place to get it nice and centered, I can make sure that that's all level for all sides. And I'm going to come in with my red cutting blade, and we're going to cut around that outside track with the red blade. Just take your time. You don't need to apply too much pressure or do this too quickly. Now I've got another offcut from my frame, and I can use this for yet another project. So I've gotten 3 frames from the one paper. And I'm going to bring in this yellow stripe paper as my background, and we can line that up perfectly to the cutting mat. And then of course we're going to layer our checkered pattern frame over the top there, like so. And once that's in place, we can stick that down. Just going to add a little bit of repositional tape to the background there. It's a great way of using up all of your scraps. And it's just a matter of getting that perfectly aligned onto your background paper. like so, and it creates a really nice and fun border for our background. Now we're going to talk about some sunflowers. I did actually do a sunflower tutorial a couple of years ago. It is still available on my website, and it's for a much smaller and more compact sunflower. The sunflower that we're making today is a little bigger, but I'm using the yellow paper from this collection. It's obviously got the brighter yellow on one side, the lighter on the other, and we're going to be working with both sides. But what we're going to do is I'm going to cut 4 strips of paper to measure 1 inch by 12 inch. Like so. Now we may need more. We can always cut more if we need to, but we'll start with 4 strips, and then I'm just layering mine together to save time, but you just need to cut all of these strips to 2 inch long length. So we've got 1 inch by 2 inches. So just keep bringing them together and we'll cut them down to length. Okay, once you've got all your little strips cut together, and again, I don't want you to overthink this. I've layered a few of the strips together, 3 or 4, and just with my scissors I'm going to cut the petals of the sunflower just by starting in that bottom corner, heading up towards the center at the top, and then I'm just going to repeat that back down into the bottom corner, and I've cut 4 at once there. You can bundle them together and that should be the shape that you're left with. Again, don't worry if they're not all the same, it all adds to the effect. You really don't need to overthink these at all, because once they're layered together, it's not going to be noticed if one is slightly larger or a little bit crooked. It really doesn't matter. We're only just cutting away that small amount of excess. Now I'm going to use my Creative Memories circle punch for the center. If you don't have this punch, you can of course use one of your custom cutting system circle templates. I've got the medium there, which would probably suit with the blue blade. It really doesn't matter the size though. I'm just going to punch one for the center, like so. Now we're going to be working with the sunflower face down, so I'm going to just add some adhesive to the back there, and for my first layer I really want the lighter yellow to be face down, so I'll just start by adding my petals. Like so. Sort of started with a north, south, east, west layout there. And then I'm just going to come on in with a little more adhesive so that we can layer in between these petals now. So you can probably fit 2 in between, or you can do 3. Just depends on how full you want your sunflower to look. I'm going to layer 2 though, if you know what I'm like. Making our way all the way around. My original sunflower set of instructions, we actually just use our scissors and fringe cut or point cut all the way around for our petals. So this technique is different to that first tutorial I shared some time ago. Just depends on, you know, how big you want your sunflowers to be. Okay, so we've got our first layer in place. That's the lighter yellow. Now what we're going to do is just flip it back over again, and this time we want the brighter yellow to be face down, and we're going to place these in between all of these petals that we've got in place. So just quickly adding a little bit of repo tape, and we're just going to make sure that we've got the other colour that we're after in between those petals. Of course, the good thing with the repo tape is you can reposition things if they're not sitting how you would like them. Okay, so we can flip our little sunflower, and ta-da! You can see how sweet that has come together. Now, one little extra that I am going to add to it, I've got a white journal pen here. I just picked this up from my local office supplies or Office Works here in Australia. I'm just going to add some little detailed lines around that centre there, just to help make the centre of our sunflower pop. And you can see how that finishes off our little flower nicely. You can lift the petals a little bit if you like, but there we have our sunflower. Okay, so I've actually made a second sunflower for my page off camera. You can have as many or as few as you like for a page like this. But what I was sort of thinking, I just want to have them tucked on opposite corners, and I am going to trim a little bit away of some of those petals so that they're sort of just poking through the corner like so. I'm going to use my regular adhesive, which is just that little bit stronger, to position that into place. And then once I've got these stuck into place, I can flip my page and I can cut away the overhang. So I've got both sunflowers in place. I can flip it, and just with my scissors, or you could put it through your 12-inch trimmer, doesn't really matter. I'm just going to trim away that little bit of overhang that we had for our petals. Okay, so with my sunflowers all trimmed away, we can see that they're just poking through the corners there. Now we can talk photos, and I was thinking 3 for this page, and I've used dark green for my photo mats, and I've got 2 different sizes. I've cut one photo mat to 6x4, and I've got 2 photo mats to 4x4. That means that I'm going to trim my photo here to 5.75 by 3.75, and these 2 will be 3.75 by 3.75. So once you're sort of happy with where your photos are positioned on your page, you can get those stuck down. And then all that's left to do with our page is to add some fun embellishments. So here is a little look at our completed page. I really love the effect those sunflowers have peeping through the corners of our page. We've got our photos and our embellishments in place. I've also allowed for some little journaling strips here where we can write some journaling later on once I print my photos. Thank you so much for watching my video today. Don't forget, the best way that you can support my creative channel is to give this video a thumbs up and to subscribe to my channel. Take care, and I shall see you very soon. Bye.